One West Hebrew Israelites love to use 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 2, because they believe it somehow establishes Israelites as Gentiles. Well, it does no such thing. This idea of Gentiles meaning Israelites in a Gentile state of mind, or Israelites who don't keep the law, or the northern kingdom. Well, we can't go into any lexicon, we can't go into any Bible dictionary and find that that's a meaning of the term. But let's go into this particular text and see what's actually going on here, contrary to the assertions they make. The NASB renders it, you know that when you were pagans, you were led astray to the mute idols. The King James Version says, ye know that ye were Gentiles, carried away unto these dumb idols. Here, pagans or Gentiles is translated from the Greek ethne, which is the plural of ethnos. When we look at the analytical lexicon of the Greek New Testament as it defines ethnos, it says generally nation, people. Plural, ta ethne, used to designate non-Jews, Gentiles, nations, foreigners. Opposite leos, in a negative sense, pagans, heathens. So from a lexical perspective, both the King James Version and the New American Standard Bible are accurate. It can be rendered pagan, heathen. It can be rendered Gentiles. It could technically be rendered nations, though that wouldn't really fit this particular text. There's clearly a distinction and a distinctive element to their identity that's being highlighted here. And in particular, it has to do with their worship. You were led away unto mute idols. And so when it says this, it's referring to the fact that these believers at Corinth were in times past led to idol worship. And so
you see how hard they be trying? First and foremost, I want to start off by giving all honor, all praise, and all glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rachak, Wadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and bishops of the great millstone that rule well, and as always, peace, blessings, and salutations. Until the four-elect tabernacle of David scattered abroad across the four winds of the earth. So this Edomite, you can hear him giving his exegesis on what 1 Corinthians 12 and 2 mean. And this all, of course, is to try to, create some kind of space, create an angle to include non-Hebrew Israelite nations. All right. So basically, Apostle Paul was addressing non-Israelites, even though that entire letter, all right, both the first and second epistle were to the saints of the Most High. Now, who are the saints? So first, let's start with that. Let's go to 1 Corinthians, the first chapter. And let's just read this. 1 Corinthians 1 and 1. It says, Paul called to be an apostle of Yahweh HaMashiach through the will of the Most High, and Sosthenes, our brother, unto the church of the Most High, which is at Corinth, to them that are sanctified in HaMashiach Yahushai, called to be saints, with all that in every place call upon the name of Yahushai HaMashiach, our Lord, both theirs and ours. Grace be unto you, and peace from God our Father, and from the Lord Yahushai HaMashiach. All right, so he greets in the beginning of this letter the church by calling them to be saints, right? So we've done this before, brothers, we already know. This is how you show that all the epistles that Paul sent, they were clearly to churches with assembled Israelites who came out of that Greek lifestyle. They were fresh out of that Greek fashion. They had that Greek state of mind. They came from families who came up in Greek customs. Where's Corinth at? It's in Greece. So our people at the time were Greeked out. But the church, a church was established there because the message of the gospel was being sent in that region. And you had those that believed, and you had those that did not believe. The ones that believed, they were no different than the circumcision, or those who were Israelites that knew that they were Israelites. All right, that believed. Okay, so let's just deal with this first. He said, "Called to be saints." So we're gonna go to the Old Testament, and we're gonna see who the saints are. First one, Psalms 50:5. And it says, "Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a sacrifice with me by," it's like, yeah, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. And, it should be a no-brainer. All right. Who made that covenant by sacrifice? That was clearly the Israelites. All right. Through Moses and Aaron, the priesthood. All right. Where, the blood had to be sprinkled upon us. All right. That was the first covenant that we made with the Lord. Okay. And the word saints is from the Hebrew word chasayad, and it means faithful, kind, godly, holy ones, saint. Pious, kind, pious, godly, faithful ones. Okay. And I mean, the scriptures say that thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God. He have chosen you to be a holy people above. He have chosen you to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. All right. So we're supposed to be the holy ones. We're supposed to be set apart, separate from the rest of these nations and their doings. That's what made us holy. That's what made us saints. All right. So through the gospel of Yahushua, because of his sacrifice, which cleansed us, we were called back to holiness. Because in the church of Corinth, it was a lot of ungodly behavior because of what that region was known for. All right, we know that the Greek way, it was very degenerate. They worshiped idols, and the way to commemorate, some of their idols was to, basically keep perverted customs, which is why in this same epistle, you had Israelites that were let me go to it. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 6. This 1 Corinthians 6 and 9. And it says, "Know you not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of the Most High? Be not deceived, neither fornicators, nor idolaters." And that's what the Greeks were known for. All right. There was when Antiochus Epiphanes was ruling over us, he made it lawful to sacrifice swine's flesh, to other gods. Okay. When you go to matter of fact, let me go in the Apocrypha just to get an idea of some of the gods that they were worshiping during that time period. There's 2 Maccabees 6 and 1. It says, "Not long after this, the king sent an old man." This is 2 Maccabees 6 and 1. "Not long after this, the king sent an old man of Athens, Greece, to compel the Jews to depart from the laws of their fathers and not to live after the laws of God. and to pollute also the temple in Jerusalem, and to call it the temple of Jupiter Olympius, and that in Gerizim of Jupiter, the defender of strangers, as they did desire that dwelt in the place. The coming in of this mischief was sore and grievous to the people, for the temple was filled with riot and reveling by the Gentiles, the actual Gentiles, right? The Greeks, who dallied with harlots and had to do with women within a circuit of the holy places, and besides that brought in things that were not lawful. So they were forced to violate the law of the Most High in the holy place. The altar also was filled with profane things which the law forbiddeth. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep the Sabbath days or ancient fast, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew. It says, and in the day of the king's birthday, every month they were brought by bitter constraint to eat of the sacrifices. And when the fast of Bacchus was kept, the Jews were compelled to go in procession to Bacchus carrying ivy. All right. So they were forced into this lifestyle, or their lives were threatened. So they had to worship idols. This is how they were. Generations later, their families were immersed into that culture. All right. So fast forward to Apostle Paul's time. These were Israelites, but they were what? They were coming straight out of that Greek fashion, that Greek lifestyle. They had that Greek state of mind. So you heard this devil, all right, where he's trying to break this down, where he's basically saying that we're saying, and he's implying that we're wrong by teaching that that's what that mean, that it's talking about a Gentile state of mind. It is talking about Israelites in a Gentile state of mind. All right. Why you think Apostle Paul had a hard time with the church of Corinth? That he made 2 letters to him, and this were the longest epistles. Out of all the epistles, this was the longest one. All right. Because they were immersed in the middle, of that whole lifestyle. Okay. But these were saints of the Most High. These were clearly the Israelites. Let me get one more saint scripture and then we'll go back. Psalms 148 and 14. And it says, he also exalted the horn of his people, the praise of all his saints, even of the children of Israel. A people near unto him, praise ye Yahweh. All right. So that's another precept. So this is who Apostle Paul, when he begins his greeting by calling them to be saints, this is a clue that he's addressing Israelites in Corinth. All right. So these same people, he's telling them, know you not, in 1 Corinthians, the 6th chapter, the 9th verse, know you not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of the Most High God? Be not deceived, neither fornicators, nor idolaters. Going back into that history, they was worshiping Jupiter, Olympius, Bacchus, basically these Greek gods, nor adulterous. So you have to dally with harlots in the temple. Adultery was permitted in Greek culture. Nor effeminate, because you definitely had homosexuality prevalent during that time as well. It says, nor abusers of themselves with mankind, homosexuality, right? Nor thieves, nor covetous, nor drunkards, nor revilers. All right. When you had to worship Bacchus, he represented the god of the grape or the wine. So you had to get drunk. You drank a lot of wine, and you was, part of the rioting that was going on. All right. Nor revilers, nor extortioners shall inherit the kingdom of the Most High. And such were some of you, but ye are washed, but you aren't sanctified. Just like when Peter had the vision of that cloth knit at the 4 corners, let down to the earth, and he saw, all manner of, you know, creeping things, and abominations, unlawful animals. And he was told multiple times to basically eat, consume. And he said, not so. I have not ate anything that was uncommon or unclean. And the angel told him, the angel of the Lord told him, that which the Lord cleansed, call not common or unclean. That was the Israelites, all right, back in their uncleanness. But through the blood of Yahushua, they were made clean. Now they could be received. Now they could be consumed. Now they could be brought in. They were washed from their filthiness. How do you get washed? By taking heed to the word. Was that Psalms 119? Psalms 119 and 9, it says, wherewithal shall a young man cleanse his way? By taking heed thereto according to thy word. All right, basically the true baptism, cleansing your mind. Basically your mind, your heart being circumcised. Okay? This is what the Lord told us in the beginning. Don't start behaving like these nations. Circumcise the foreskin of your heart. Deuteronomy 10 and 16, it says, circumcise therefore the foreskin of your heart and be no more stiff-necked. All right. Let's go to Jeremiah. Was it 4? Yeah, Jeremiah 4 and 3, it says, for thus saith the Lord to the men of Judah and Jerusalem, break up your fallow ground and sow not among thorns. Circumcise yourselves to the Lord and take away the foreskins of your heart, you men of Judah and inhabitants of Jerusalem. Yeah, because there was Judah was committing idolatry just like this, the northern kingdom was. They had, for the number of cities, they had gods, idols. So it says to basically circumcise yourselves into the Lord and take away the foreskin of your hearts. Because as long as you are behaving in that manner, commemorating these other idols, you're like a Gentile. You're a pagan. You're in a Gentile state of mind. Because that's what the word heart, which we all know, the word heart goes back to the Hebrew word lab, which means mind. All right, so take away the foreskins of your mind, because it's unclean. Clean your mind, clean your heart, man. Change your ways, you men of Judah in the inhabitants of Jerusalem, lest my fury come forth like fire and burn that none can quench it because of the evil of your doings. Okay. So these Israelites in Corinth, they needed to circumcise their hearts, because as long as they were being like heathens, those that were circumcised, the circumcised Jews, they looked down upon the other Israelites. They called them the uncircumcision. And you could read that in Ephesians, was that 2 in verse 10 on down. So this is what they were doing when they were Gentiles. All right. They were being fornicators. They were worshiping idols. All right. They were committing adultery. They were effeminate. They were being homosexuals. It says, nor thieves. They were being thieves. They were covetous, drunkards, especially if you had to worship Bacchus, you had to get drunk. Nor revilers, nor extortioners shall inherit the kingdom of the Most High. And such were some of you. So this is why he had to say that later in the chapter. You were Gentiles carried away into these dumb idols, even as you were led. Because this is what you were, this is the behavior and the lifestyle that you were accustomed to when you were in a Gentile state of mind. But now, since you're justified through your faith and belief in Yahushua, you're now clean. So now you need to turn, to the way of holiness. It says, but you are justified in the name of the Lord Yahushua and by the Spirit of our God. All right. So 1 Corinthians 12 and 2. And it says, now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, I would not have you ignorant. You know that you were Gentiles, carried away into these dumb idols, even as you were led. All right. And that's past tense. In times past, Gentiles, you were carried away, all right, with being a pagan, which is why they were being called pagans or Gentiles, because you were doing what the pagans do. And it's not new, because Jake was doing it in the past. Let's go to Psalms. Was it 106? Let me try to find that. Yeah, this is Psalms 106. And this is, mentioning what they did, in the wilderness and other things that Jake was doing when we came into the land of Canaan. Psalms 106, and I'm going to start at verse 33. It says, because they provoked the spirit so that he spake unadvisedly with his lips, they did not destroy the nations concerning whom the Lord commanded them, talking about them Canaanites, but were mingled among the heathen and learned their works. You see that? So they were mingled among them and they learned their works, meaning they practiced the customs of those Canaanites that were around them, which the Lord specifically told them to stay away from, because you're a holy people. So they became pagans and they served their idols. All right. Carried away into them dumb idols, even as you were led, and they would serve their idols, which were a snare unto them. Yeah, they sacrificed their sons and their daughters unto devils and shed innocent blood, even the blood of their sons and of their daughters, whom they sacrificed unto the idols of Canaan, and the land was polluted with blood. Thus they were defiled with their own works and went a-whoring with their own inventions. And the Lord created us to be righteous, upright, but they sought out many inventions. So that's why the Lord got angry with us. And, he would allow for the nations to come down on us and put us in captivity, slavery, carry us away, take us out of our land and carry us to their land to serve them. And that was one of the curses, that if we disobeyed and we broke his covenant, this is what would happen. Deuteronomy 28 and 64 says, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from one end of the earth even unto the other. And so you had Israelites that were scattered in Greece, all throughout different parts of Europe, Asia Minor, Greece, Italy. At that time, right? It says, from the one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. Okay, so that was the curse. So you can't tell me this doesn't apply. So this is why he's addressing them, all right? And he's talking about, the different spiritual gifts, whether it's to prophesy, whether it's to discern spirits, whether it's to heal, all those different things that were valuable to the church. And he's reminding them that, hey, you went from living like a non-Israelite to now, the Lord then, opened you up. He woke you up. And now you have this spiritual gift. So this is not to be taken lightly. Now that you're a part of the church of the Most High. You see that? So this is kind of like a reminder. You remember what state of mind that you used to be in. And that's all of us. We were all Gentiles before we were open to this understanding, before the Lord woke us up. And so let me hit a few more precepts to show you that it is a state of mind. Okay? But he's trying to make it something else because he has to include these other nations in. because he knows he's not a part of that. All right, he's a Edomite. So let's go from there to Ephesians 4 and 17 and 18. And it says, "This I say, therefore, and testify in the Lord, that you henceforth walk not as other Gentiles walk, in the vanity of their mind, having their understanding darkened, being alienated from the life of the Most High through the ignorance that is in them because of the blindness of their heart." All right, living like a Gentile in a Gentile state of mind. Totally ignorant. They had no idea of how to live to serve the Heavenly Father, which is their true God. Their idea was idols crafted by man's hands, made of metals. It says, "Who being past filling have given themselves over unto lasciviousness," uncontrolled lust, "to work all uncleanness with greediness." All right. So this is when you were in a Gentile state of mind. You were serving the pleasures of your flesh. It says, "But you have not so learned Hamashiach, if so be that you have heard him and have been taught by him as the truth in Yahushai, that you put off concerning the former conversation or behavior the old man, the Gentile man, which is corrupt according to the deceitful lust, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind." Right? Come out of that Gentile state of mind. All right. "And that you put on a new man, which is after the Most High, is created in righteousness and true holiness." As the Lord said, "Even as I am holy, be ye holy, because I am holy." Going back to our law. All right. So this is one way you can prove that you being Gentiles, it meant that you were in a Gentile state of mind. You were being like the pagans, the Gentiles. Let's go from there to Colossians 1 and 21. It says, I'll start at 20. It says, "And having made peace through the blood of his cross, by him to reconcile all things unto himself by him, I say, whether they be things in earth or things in heaven, and you that were sometime alienated," all right, "ye that you were Gentiles, alienated and enemies in your mind by wicked works," doing after the works of who? When Jake came among them Canaanites, they were mingled among them and learned what? Their works. "Yet now have he reconciled." They were doing the works of the Greeks and the pagan Romans. Now they've been reconciled through the sacrifice. It says, "In the body of his flesh through death, to present you holy and unblameable and unprovable in his sight, if you continue in the faith, grounded and settled, and be not moved away from the hope of the gospel which you have heard, which was preached to every creature which is under heaven." That's not talking about air. So a simple Christian will say, "Well, see, it said it was preached to every creature under heaven." So they wouldn't preach to lions, wild lions, and they wouldn't preach to snakes. They wouldn't preach to doves. They wouldn't preach to lizards. No, it's talking about the children of Israel, who the gospel was to be sent to. All right. It says, "Whereof I also am made a minister." So let's go from there. Let's get Titus. And Titus and Timothy, they came from families that were, serving the Greek lifestyle. This is Titus 3 and 3. It says, "For we ourselves also were," past tense, "sometimes foolish, disobedient, deceived, serving diverse lusts and pleasures, living in malice and envy, hateful and hating one another." So this is what we once were involved in. This is what we were doing. before we woke up to this gospel. Hence, you were Gentiles carried away into dumb idols, even as you were led. And this was your behavior. All right. Let's get 1 Peter 4. And we'll close off with this one. 1 Peter 4 and 1, it says, "For as much then as a Mashiach, the anointed, have suffered for us in the flesh, arm yourselves likewise with the same mind. For he that have suffered in the flesh have ceased from sin, that he no longer should live the rest of his time in the flesh to the lust of men, but to the will of the Most High." Right? The lifestyle change. For the time past of our life, right? And times past, where we made us like it. For the time past of our life may suffice us to have wrought the will of the Gentiles when we walked in lasciviousness, lust, excess of wine, revelings, banquetings. Was this not what they were doing in the temple? All right. Going back to the Hellenist period. Antiochus, Ptolemy. All right. This is what we were involved in. We were forced into it. Our ancestors. All right. You had to sleep with temple prostitutes in the temple. It says banquetings and abominable idolatries, wherein they think it strange that you run not with them to the same excess of riot, speaking evil of you. Basically, once you convert and change your lifestyle, your family who's still in that stuck in that lifestyle and that mentality, they're gonna look at you as evil. You know, like you turning your back on the family and our tradition, which was pagan. Same way when we stopped celebrating our birthdays, or we stopped celebrating these pagan holidays of America, your family start to kind of, look at you different. And we all experienced that once we came into this truth, because that's our way of coming out of, these abominable things to turn back to holiness. So this is how you understand what that mean in 1 Corinthians. Corinthians, he had a hard time with them because they was fresh out, man. You had women that was trying to teach in the church. You had a man that slept with his father's wife in the church. You had men who were once homosexual, but they repented in that church. You had all kind of stuff, man. So, Paul had to address things and straighten things out. So, nice try, though. He tried to go into these different terms and, go into the concordance and these, this is what they try to do to try to appeal, like they're intelligent. But you don't understand these scriptures, man. You don't. Because it's not given to you. The wicked shall not understand, but the wise shall understand. So that's pretty much the lesson. And hopefully y'all will edify them, give all praise to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Until the next lesson, Shalom.